Good morning. As you know, looks in the estuary can be deceptive, but it is stunning. 2 degrees driving in, frost in the valleys, frost on the pontoon, and no wind. But we've had an awful lot of easterly wind. It was windy yesterday. It's calmed down in the night, so we'll see what we can get out today. First of all, I need to talk to you about my last video. If you've not seen it and you're interested, have a look. It's the one with the blue banner called It's Competition Time, and it's only 4 minutes long, so if you're interested, have a look. The point of that video was twofold. My daughter's running the marathon, and to just try and gather up a little bit of enthusiasm and fundraising, what I was offering was the chance to win a day on the boat with me in the summer. So I mentioned in the video that she was struggling with a calf muscle tear. That got more painful. She went back to the docks, had very good service. Long story short, she's got 2 fractures on the same leg, stress fractures, one small, one large, with the doctor's advice to walk with crutches for the next 3 to 8 weeks. So with the marathon in 2 weekends time, that's not happening, unfortunately. So she's very disappointed about that. She's been on to the charity, which is Guide Dogs for the Blind, and managed to defer her place. So she's got a guaranteed place to run it next year. All the money that she's got so far is safe, lodged with the charity. She'll carry on fundraising and run it next year. So I'm going to run with the competition as well. So that's still open. So people that have donated so far, yeah, no problems at all with that. And if anybody else wants to donate, just be aware that the money that you donate will go to Guide Dogs for the Blind, but it'll be slightly delayed on the 2026 marathon, not the 2025 marathon. If you want to have a go at that and stand the chance of a day on the water with me, please have a look at the previous video and put your comments on that one. Don't put them on this video, because I'll just get confused with numbers. Yeah, that's that. I'm going to press on down the river, and I'll speak to you a little bit lower down the estuary. You have to choose somewhere for your morning cup of tea and breakfast. There we are. Right, so fishing. Yeah, so winter fishing gives way to spring fishing, and by that what I mean is that hopefully the sandhills have come in. The commercial sandhill fishermen in Teignmouth start at the beginning of April, so the sandhills coming in. Mackerel chasing the sandhills, bass chasing the mackerel, that sort of thing. So it's a bit of a strange time of year, because the potential is there for it to be fantastic. Lots of bait to catch, mackerel to catch, bass to catch. A cod run might have started, and the pollock maybe haven't gone yet. The bigger pollock. You can catch pollock all year round here. So potentially it can be good, and potentially you can catch it where the spring fish haven't arrived and the winter fish have gone. So we'll see. And as ever, we're going to be flexible. We'll have a look at the weather. So what I plan to do is try and get out to a reef, give that a go. The only rod that I've got set up at the moment is that one. New birthday reel, lucky boy. I'll show you that later. Yeah, just some mackerel feathers to start with, so run over with some baited feathers, see what's about, see if there are any mackerel about, see if we can catch some bait potentially, and take it from there. If I can't get out to the reefs a little bit further out, which I'd like to get to, I'll have a look around the inshore reefs, excuse me, inshore reefs, and see if we can find some mackerel. Mackerel would be lovely. So the target species for the day, mackerel and bass, and we'll see what the weather allows. So I've spoken about the weather before and what I look at, but it's worth going over again, because it's a question that frequently comes up. How do I decide whether I'm going or not? So I look at various things. I look at the BBC weather, I look at XC weather, choose your favourite app. The National Coastwatch Institution has got a good actual weather station there. I look at the inshore waters forecast and the shipping forecast. And like last weekend, if it was all 5s and 7s, force 5s to force 7, it's an easy decision. If it's been calm for weeks and it's 2 and the local weather's giving it as slight or smooth, it's an easy decision. Inside of that bracket covers, or between that bracket, covers most of our fishing. And for me, the key is to be flexible, and whether you've got somewhere decent to run back to. I obviously fish out of an estuary, even if it blew up to a force 8, which I'll be back well before it gets that strong. But if I got caught out to that extent, I can get this boat into the shelter of the harbour and get it back onto my mooring. If you're trailer launching, you know, you've got to be a lot more careful, and depending, if you're in a harbour, depending on the direction of the wind, you've got to be a bit more careful. So it's calm winds today. The thing that might spoil it is the east wind is forecast to pick up a little bit, so just keep an eye on that. And we're hanging over from an east wind. The east wind, normally the seas from an east wind calm down very quickly. From a southwesterly, got a massive reach going right across the Atlantic. It can take a week, 10 days to calm down, but the east wind can flatten overnight, so that's what I'm hoping for. Right, finish this tea, get out to sea and have a look. So first things first, new reel, birthday present from my lovely wife. Penn Fathom 2-speed lever drag. This is the 15 size. I really like these reels. It replaces the older model. So it's a lever drag. Excuse me. It's 2-speed, so you can get a bit more cranking power just by pressing that button and releasing it. And the improvement they've made is on the drag nut, rather than it just being free to move as you go along, you have to, hope this shows all right in the video, just pull that little knob out before you adjust it. So in theory, whatever you set the drag to at the start of the day, that's how it stays. Sorry, just trying to keep adjusting for the sun. So it's a new reel, so I've also got a new line. If I use the line just like that and get a decent sized fish, the line's going to dig into the spool and give you all sorts of problems. So what I've done in the past is just stuck a 6-ounce lead in, make sure I'm on some sandy ground, spool out all the line and wind it back on. Ideally it needs to be wet, and ideally it needs to be under a little bit of tension. So that's what I've done previously, and I'd like to say this is an original idea, but I saw this on the fish locker and thought, that's a good idea. So I've got a bottle out of the recycling, half filled with water. That's going over the side. I'm going to spool out all the line and then wind that back in under tension. So then the reel will be ready to go. So yeah, spooling out and winding in. This boat that's coming in straight towards me, brilliant. So yeah, spooling out and winding in 300 meters of line doesn't make the most exciting video, so I'll get on with that, get the reel ready, see you out on the reef. Well, I switched the camera off there because there was something fairly solid that a hook had caught into, and I think a pouting's dragged it out for us. Oh, it's not a pouting. Well, it is a pouting. So we've got a nicely marked female cuckoo. Not as bright as the male counterparts, but nice. You can go back. And pout number 2. 2 drops, 2 species, it's encouraging. Right, let's get all the twists out of this and drop it down again. Well, drift 3 was just another little pout. Yep, they're here all year round, scavenging for anything that's on the bottom. So I've just come to a different spot on the reef. Give that a go. Still on mackerel feathers. I'll have a pass with mackerel feathers. If that doesn't do any good, I might just switch to sabikis and see if we can pick up any lawns, stuff like that. Small joeys, small scad, that sort of thing. It's not mackerel, or if it is, it's tiny. Yeah, more of the same, just very similar sized. It's nice to be catching something. And at least from this depth, reeled in gently, they go back easily. See if I can show you these. Bit difficult with the boat moving, and they're tiny. Little size 8 sabikis. I just passed over where I'm going to fish slowly so I can get a good look on the sounder, and there are little bits of fish showing on the sounder. What they are, don't know, can't tell. They're not big, and they're not in a big shoal. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully it's something that'll be good for bait. This reef, I know it quite well. I've fished on it a lot, but it's the first time this year. Sometimes it's covered in sand, which is a good thing. Sand provides a hiding place for funny old thing, sand eels. And in turn that affects things higher up the food chain. There's no sand on this reef today, certainly not the 2 sections that I've fished so far. It's very bouncy, you can feel that. Braid is brilliant, you can feel everything that's going on the bottom. So I'm bouncing off hard things. The lead has gone into rock sometimes. I've had it 2 or 3 times when the lead's gone in, pulled out by a pout on one occasion. And I've managed to get it out of the little pocket it's gone in, but if there was a covering of sand over the reef, the lead wouldn't be getting stuck in rock holes. Not picking up the required or targeted species on the sabikis for this drift. I've got some other options. There could still be some bass lurking around, so I might give it a go with some lures. There's another section of the reef that I'd like to try. Like I said, I know it fairly well. Another section I'd like to try, and if that doesn't do anything, we've got a really nice tide for wreck fishing, so I've got a choice of wrecks, some that I know, some that I don't know, that I've seen on the Navionics. We'll press on here for a bit though first. So the sabikis didn't do it, just re-rigging with a lure to see if there's anything bigger about, hopefully a bass. So the total setup is the reel, as I showed earlier, Ugly Stick GX2, 12 to 20 pound class. I've got 40 pound braid on that. That goes down to Cox and Roll snap-on, and then I've got this bit, the boom, which I carry several of those pre-tied in my bag. So that's a swivel, the boom, 6 ounce lead for this depth of water, and a swivel on the other end. Then got about just over 6 foot, 7 foot of 15-pound fluorocarbon. So we'll just pop that on the other end of the boom, or the swivel on the other end of the boom. I always use fluorocarbon for this bit of it. Invisible in water, keeps nice and straight. £15 is the lightest that I have, and I've then got 25 and 35, I think it is. But here I'm not catching anything really toothy like ling. You just want to give the lure as natural a movement as possible, and keeping the line as invisible as possible, so £15 is adequate. On the other end of that, I'm using these this year, just a little snap-on. Now, a few seasons ago, I fell out of love with this lure. I had a couple of sessions on it, didn't catch any fish, so obviously it was the lure and not me, but I'm giving it another go. The Skerries eel, probably one of the best known lures in the world, so I'll leave you to make your mind up what was at fault on those couple of trips. But yeah, I haven't used them for a few seasons, so I thought I'd revisit and start off with a white one, I think. 6 inches these ones. Just trim that end of it. There we are, ready to do some damage down there. Let's reposition and give it a try. Right, there's that Skerries eel going over the side. I've got some mackerel feathers off the back, freshly baited, just doing their own thing. Hopefully I've set that so that when we go over the shallowest bit of the reef, that's not going to bottom out, but I'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see if there's anything larger about to have a go on this Skerries eel. I'm not very hopeful, I have to say. The reason I'm not very hopeful is for there to be bass here, they need something to eat. And as far as I'm aware, they don't eat pout. They'll eat sand eels, mackerel, scad, that sort of thing. I'm guessing that those oily, fast fish have got higher protein levels, a higher calorific value than munching on a lazy old scavenger that is the pouting. Don't know for sure, that's just my thought. And having had several passes with the mackerel feathers and a pass with the sabikis and not picking up any of that type of fish, if there's nothing for them to eat, there ain't going to be any bass here. The tide's nice for it now, it's picked up to 1.6 knots, but yeah, if there's nothing for them to eat, they won't be here. But I'm on the reef anyway, so it's worth a pass, and if that produces nothing, we'll move on and see what's happening. No interest at all in those mackerel feathers, and similar on the lure, not even a peck from pouting at the bottom yet. I'm on 2 tides today, so I came out on the drop-in tide. I didn't come out particularly early for various reasons, but I came out on the drop-in tide. We've got the full of the ebb, and I'll go in on the rising tide this afternoon. So I have got time to play around a little bit and try and find some fish. So my plan now, I'm here. I think this is as bad as the wind's going to get. That's how the forecast pans out anyway, which is absolutely fine. There's a bit of that easterly chop to contend to when we're heading back in. So finish this drift off, which is nearly there, which has produced absolutely nothing. I want to try another bit of the reef, which oh, was that a little peck on the way down? It's not gone for it. So yeah, I want to try Another little bit of the reef. I saw something there. No, maybe just birds. Another bit of the reef which at the right time of year, we're a little bit early for it yet, can have brittle stars, which mean cod. Again, I think we're a little bit early for cod, but that's not very far away, so after this drift, if there's nothing showing, I'll head out that way. Right, same again on a different bit of the reef, a little bit deeper out here. Actually just off the reef here at 56 metres going up onto it. I think it'll rise to about 45 here, something like that. Yeah, mackerel feathers over the back because they're not going to catch anything sat in the boat. And that scary seal. Luckily that little east wind chop is doing its job at moving the mackerel feathers up and down, giving them a bit of life. Right on the edge of the reef now. Was 56, now 52, 51. I've just seen that we are drifting towards Dan Buoy. It's a little way off yet, but that'll be the end of the drift. Certainly no brittle stars here. You can feel them on the bottom. It just feels spongy on the lead when it hits the bottom. This is quite hard. This reef didn't fish well last year at all. I love reef fishing. It's a really nice way to fish. But because we had so many tuna around, and there's not so many places to hide, the theory is that the fish were that would normally occupy the reef had gone onto the wrecks, so there's a bit more cover to hide from the tuna. So, as I haven't heard any reports of tuna in any numbers here. There's plenty of Cornwall, but not here. Of course, it might have been worth a try. Seems maybe I was wrong. Right, we're very close to those markers now, so I'll bring them up. The reef obviously isn't fishing well, so I'll have a look at the plotter and we'll punch out to a wreck, I think. See you out there. Sorry about the sun. There are some seas where in any small boat, and a warrior's no different, you can't avoid a bit of water coming over the top. This is one of those days. It's not unsafe, it's not massively uncomfortable. I could go slower. I'm doing 12 knots, but there are several wrecks that I could have picked. There's no real reason why one should fish better than the other. So the one I've chosen means that I've got a sea coming on the port quarter going into it, which is why a bit of water's coming over the top. But the ride then home back to Salcombe will be across the sea rather than punching straight into it like some of the wrecks would have been, and that would be very wet in this short choppy sea. So yeah, I've got just under 2 miles to go on this and then we'll be wreck fishing. So, out on the wreck, a little bit lumpier than the reef, sorted okay. See if the first drift works out alright. I've got exactly the same setup. The only difference, the only thing I've changed is I've upped the lead to 10 ounces so that I can fish as vertically as possible. And it's looking alright on the first drift, remarkably. Come on. Well, sure what this is. Something's just hanging onto it. It can't hardly be described as a bite. It certainly wasn't a lunge for the bottom like a pollock. Ah, we've got dolphins with us as well. I think this has come off actually, whatever it was just some weight on it. So yeah, what that was I don't know. I just took the camera off its mount because dolphins came right by the boat. When I turn it this way, they'll turn up again. There they are. They've got a sixth sense, I'm sure. Hopefully you got that. Just up against the boat. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. Possibly a cuttlefish, which is now let go. I don't mind getting distracted by dolphins, but let's see if the second drift can produce anything. A couple of bites on the first drift, which I suspect were pouting. Yeah, just that funny weight on, possibly cuttlefish. I don't think I've got this drift very good at all. No, I was trying to hit the one edge of the wreck, and I've missed it by about 20 metres. We'll fish it through. They don't always sit directly over the wreck. If it's particularly if it's pollock, they're chasing bait fish around. Well, the bait fish don't sit there waiting to be eaten; they move. So if there is a bit of a bait ball there, that'll move. They're obviously sheltering in the wreck, so they will centre on the wreck, but they will move away from it as well. Chances of them moving away from it in the direction that I've misdrifted on it are slim, but we'll give it a try. Makes your day when they pop up alongside you when you're just repositioning. Had a bit of trouble with the camera today. I thought I was filming this drift, but I might not have been. Anyway, I've got something on, but it's not large. And it is a small pollock, which I'm going to put in a bucket of water, because it doesn't seem like it's got barotrauma, but its eyes are out a little bit. So I'll pop it in some water because I'd like to return that. Obviously, it's not a table fish. Lead out in a minute as well. As hopefully you could see, I was reeling it in nice and slowly in the hope that whatever it was I could return it. see, with some nice bobbly oxygenated water there. See if that recovers. Hopefully it will. Meanwhile, round again. It's 1-0 to the wreck, so I've re-rigged. Gone for the 6-inch joey this time. You can untangle yourself. So in the space of time it took me to re-rig, the wind has got up further. It's a good 20 now, possibly 25, so unfortunately I'm going to have to consider my options, and staying out here is probably not a good one. It's windswept at the moment, but if the wind does stay like this, then it's going to get uncomfortable travelling back in. It's not like you can even say I'm catching loads of fish out here. Not that that's an excuse to stay out if the weather's not suitable. But, it's not suitable, but it's getting borderline, definitely. Yeah, at 2.6 knots adrift now. Nicely over the wreck. Got the angles like this. Oh, seeing that. I've got something that's half reasonable and taking line. Not you'll be able to see the bend on the rod because it's going behind the boat. Let's see if we can just sort this out. Right, that's better with the wind. It's a reasonable fish, this. And I was just about to say it's not particularly fishable with this strength of tide now. It's tide and wind movement. Well, I guess it's the tide. It felt bigger than that. There it is, straight out. And that's in lovely condition. See, its eyes look much better. That other one didn't make it, unfortunately. But that one is in good condition. Straight back down for that one. Yeah, well, an acceptable fish to end it out here on. I think that wind's just getting stronger. 2.6 knots adrift. If the pollock are just small, that one was okay, reeled it in nice and slowly, as I did the other one. The other one was baratron, but that one wasn't. So yeah, so I don't want to be out here just catching small pollock that in nearly 70 metres of water that are just going to come up dead. So yeah, lucky with that one. I've still got a little bit of time, so I'm going to head on to the inshore reefs and have a look around for the mackerel, see if there are any early season mackerel. See you there. Well, we've just got some shelter here, literally a couple of 100 yards further out. It's windy, There's still a bit of a breeze here, but the sea's obviously much more acceptable. So this is the first point I want to try on the way in. It's still a couple of miles out. A little bit of a reefy area. See if there's any mackerel around. Absolutely void of anything on the sounder. But there might be mackerel around, there might be gurnard around, something like that. So just the baited feathers again. And to start with, I'm just bouncing them across the bottom really. Chance of a mackerel, chance of a gurnard. It's a shame out on that wreck. Lovely tide for it, but like I said earlier, my favourite tide and least favourite wind, and the wind won today unfortunately. Yeah, this might be just a bit strong here. We've got, well, not just a bit strong, a lot strong. It's a peculiar reef this. I don't know why. It's not particularly high. But the tide seems to funnel here. Whether it's something to do with the headlands over there or not, I'm not sure. But we've got a strong tide anyway. But we are 2.8 knots adrift here, which doesn't make for fun fishing really. So give it a drift. If that doesn't work, I'm only stopping here because it's on the way in. Yeah, there's some other reefs inshore which will still be a strongish tide, but not as fierce as this. Well, after several attempts at trying, we might have a mackerel. Two beauties. I think we found some. Oh no. I did say I wouldn't mind it. Let me turn this around. Now I did say I wouldn't mind a gurnard, but they'll have to be slightly bigger than that. Down you go. Not the fattest in the world, but they'll make a nice plateful. One of the target species achieved. Just wouldn't mind a few more to go with them. See if we can find them. Well, cutting to my garden probably wasn't what you were expecting at the end of the video. Me neither. My camera had been playing up all day, and I've just been editing the video, and the closing clip is unusable. It was switching itself on and off. I lost a couple of clips, and for some reason there's just a massive amount of wind noise, even though I've got a medium mod to try and prevent that. Anyway, I wanted to close the video properly because it was one of those days. I wasn't disappointed with the day. You sort of you can't be. It is what it is this time of year. Sometimes the fish will be there and sometimes they won't. So it was a lovely day out. Saw some dolphins, caught some fish.
even one of the target species, albeit just 2 mackerel. But the reason I wanted to close it properly mainly was to once again thank everyone that's donated to Perdita's marathon campaign, which I said at the start of the video. And if you are interested in coming out with me for a day on the boat, look at my previous video, and it's all on there what you need to do. And especially thank you to those that donated and also sent a note saying that coming down to me was too far away, but you donated anyway. So it is appreciated. My daughter very much appreciates it. Yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.